Hello developers and welcome to this video. In this opportunity I am validate with you about different implementation of the same patterns. In this video I have the opportunity to create one demo about of the chain responsibility pattern. In this site I have some folders about the every patterns and the category with the behavioral patterns and the creational patterns like you see in the screen. Well, in this part of my application, this is one application created in Java and some different classes about of this pattern. To create this pattern is necessary to generate the approver class for two principal methods, that is set next approver and the process request. Well, in this case I have two methods. Suppose that you have one change responsibility in your company with different profiles of the different positions of employees in the company to generate approval for the purchase request of your business, for example. In this case, we have the higher authority of this hierarchy in the chain responsibility, that is the president, for example. The president in this case doesn't have the approver, that is one person that not require a approver for that is the highest authority in the company. And when this person have the required to process requests, the system in this case only print one message in the console for the get number of requests. But in this case you can have, for example, all logic about one approval of the purchase or orders or other domain component in your business application. Well, the manager is the director is the second person in the hierarchy of the company. For example, in this case, I have the implementation of the set next approver with the approver that in this case is the president, okay, that you configure in the flow of the or your chain responsibility pattern. Like to I will show you in the next minus in the main class, for example. Well, in this case, I said in this part of code that the request get amount less or equal to 5,000. The director need to approve the request in this class, for example, and else if the amount is greater, the first validation is that review the next approver is setter. In this case, the process request is necessary to this part of the logic. Else, the request is require higher approval and pass to the next approval. Yes. And the last approver is the manager. The manager have to consider the director approval and have to one way to approve the request with the one amount less than 1,000 in this case. Well, let's go to run the example and check the chain responsibility pattern. In this case, I am run and debug this file, and the first message is enter the name of the pattern, and the name is change responsibility pattern. Then and now I advance with the this line. For example, I have one problem with the recorder utility but I try to advance with this. Well, I advance the step that is interesting for this part of validation is chain responsibility. The first object is the manager. Director and president is the third object that is required. And the manager set the next approver with the director, like to issue in this case. And the director have the president approver. Well, the purchase request start with one item. That item is number one and amount is 800. And the second request is the number two with the 3,500. And the third is their request for the number three, and the amount is the 12,000. Well, the first is the check the process with this process request manager. The manager evaluates the first condition. The first condition is true, and then the manager approves the purchase request. Well, um, let me to advance. Okay, and well, the first request is approves. Well, and now the second process request is for the request number two. The request number two advance with this validation, and the amount exceeds the authority of this manager. Yes, and the next approver is different of no, and is the president, like you show in this part of the modal component. And well, the process request advance, and the director approves the purchase request, like you see in the console in this part. Well, I advance with the third condition with the manager process request of the request number three. In this case, I am in reviewing more profundation flow. Well, in this part, the amount exceeds, and the process request is necessary to the higher approval. The higher approval requires the director approval, but the director approval don't have this uh, approval because it's the president. Okay, well, and then the president approved the purchase, and this is all for this pattern. I hope that you enjoy with this pattern of the behavioral patterns in Java. And, happy coding, and next to the next video, see you into the next video, and let me your comments in the box, and share with others developers in the community, and follow me in the Twitter or in the YouTube channels with the Inphilip nickname. Thanks, and see you again on the next